Hey guys, quick little video we're going to do here. This is some recent acquisitions. This is going to be real short, literally. There's only a few things. We had the old Potbelly Gang show here out on the western side of Pennsylvania. Hunter Selby came up, so good to see him. Even though I got a chance to say hi to him for like 10 seconds, I'm just going to talk to him for a while, discuss the YouTube stuff, and he was mingling with the crowd and talking to everybody, and then I actually had left earlier in the show, probably about 10:30, 11 o'clock, because our local plastic guy that does all the vending at the shows has opened an actual brick and mortar store, and he was sort of having a party kind of thing. Well, it wasn't a party, but he had some Subway subs and stuff, party subs and stuff, and so I went up there to support him. Yeah, that's just where I got my stuff at over the weekend. And I got a couple things here I picked up off eBay, too. And, I don't want to disparage the show, but it reminded me of why I haven't gone to it for a couple of years. There was around 23, I think. Might have been 25 by the time it was all said and done with entries in the contest. I'm assuming that Hunter won, everything with his Pro Star with the custom cab that has a TV set and everything else like that. We didn't place with the McLaren. Competition was sort of a competition everything, and that was, of the 25 entries, about a third of it, or half of it, was in commercial, which was just a commercial general, light and heavy together, and then everything else was in competition. There was actually, when I left, no entries in custom, which is just a shock, because custom always has usually a very hotly contested category at almost any show. And there was nothing in juniors, which is, is what it is, I guess. It's sort of right now, at least around here, you have football going on, playoffs, and I think volleyball has started, and there's a whole bunch of other, activities for the kids going on in their school days that take up their weekends. I know that a friend of mine who would normally make the trip out here just to hang out with me, if nothing else. He had Boy Scout things to do, so, the scouting thing's going on. So I understand why there weren't any kids there. I don't know how the vendors did. I'll find out when we go to the club meeting. A couple of the guys did some vending there. But overall, really not that impressed. It's going to probably be a situation where if I go to a contest that weekend in the future, I'll probably go up to the Cleveland IPMS show. That's where most everybody else that I know went, and they seem to all have a good time. And there's a show out by Dayton the day before, so you can sort of make a weekend trip out of going over to Ohio. Gotta try to see if I can't get my employer, should I still be employed, in the future there. See if I can't get my weekends in the spring and the fall off, and just be like, look, I'll work your weekends in the winter and the summer because I don't really have much going on, but. From, say, about February through May and August through November, like have my weekends off so I can get out and do some stuff. I have the weekend not this weekend coming, but next weekend off. That's, of course, the Atlanta NNL, Southern Nationals, the Acme show. There's also a NNL up in Detroit that weekend. And then the Liars Club out there on Long Island does their thing. So, next weekend, actually, there's quite a few big regional shows going on. I will probably be here because I've got a little kid that has a birthday party to go to that day. But I like to, get out to more things than just the few shows that I got to this year. And we'll see. We'll see how that all works out in the coming month. So like I said, not to disparage the show, but it wasn't anything. And it's not because it didn't place with the McLaren. It's people's choice, so it is what it is. Bling takes precedence over substance. Everybody really liked Hunter's truck, which is understandable. I think it's great. I think it's always amusing that he doesn't like it, or isn't happy with it, I guess I should say. But be that as it may, at the show, not at the show, but actually during the show at Auto Modelers, the new brick and mortar store that friend opened. We got a few things, so we're going to spin the camera around here and we'll show you. All right, so first thing we picked up is this Jada diecast. Yes, it is a diecast, and normally I don't really do much with diecast other than I have some police car stuff. And it is not the new one that's going to be coming out here shortly. It's I believe it's an International TerraStar with a rollback, which is a very, very toy-looking die-cast in and of itself. This is a Durastar 4400i. It's a pretty detailed model. I picked it up for a little over $30. These side boxes open individually. The doors, I think both doors open. I know the driver's door does. I don't think, maybe the passenger door doesn't open. Nope, passenger door does open. The hood opens. There's not much of an engine in there, really, but it opens. When you come around to the back, I know chrome plating for the decking, that has to be calmed down somehow, but I really haven't figured out a good way to do that, because to get this deck off the actual flatbed itself would require like burrowing out all of those melt-in things that they do with plastic and die-cast. But you have this tow bar in the back. It does extend and come down. Obviously, it doesn't have the rest of the parts to make the actual wheel lift, and from testing it, it's not strong enough to actually hold a model up. So you could use this to stage, oh, hey, we're going to be towing away such and such, but you couldn't actually, even if you square tubed out the rest of the wheel lift to make it functional, you would have to then go back in here and brace out or make this a stronger, there's a set of pistons in here. You have to make those pistons stronger so they would actually be able to hold up. The flatbed itself does actually operate in a full way. It does, come out and it pivots, and if I can get it to do this one-handed, yeah, maybe I can't. There we go. It does come down and deck all the way out to the ground. So it's a fully functional flatbed. I don't know. It could be possibly you could take this whole pivoting deck system and put it on something else if you didn't want to keep it on the actual toyness of the die-cast. I got a big blotch here you can't see. Pivot around here. Big blotch on right here, this big black spot. That's from these things were had tape on them and it peeled the chrome plating off, which is okay. It looks like there's 2 screws in the middle here that hold this entire assembly on, and probably one of the very few things I'm going to actually do to this, because this is more of a photo prop than it is anything else. It's not actually going to be I'm not detailing this out and putting it in modified die-cast categories of contest or anything else like that. This is meant to just be a prop for the dealership diorama. I'm going to take these off, dechrome them, and respray them aluminum. And then probably the only other thing I'm really going to do is these door handles are gloss black with the paint job. And on the real truck, they would be black plastic surrounds with possibly either chrome door handles or just black ones. This is chrome mirrors, so they'll probably be chrome door handles. So I'll, mask it off, and I'll just hand paint that probably semi-gloss black, and then put chrome foil on the door handles to make the door handles look right. Because I've driven a bunch of Internationals, not the Durastars. That's too small for what I deal with in trucking. But I've driven a bunch of these Internationals, and the fact that the door handle is glossy is one of the things that makes my spidey senses tingle on this. I think the wheels themselves are okay. Maybe you could wash them to differentiate the hub out up front here, because I don't think this hub has a cover on it. The back one has a cover on it like you would have for the chrome dress. The only other things I would like to do to this, and I'd have to take the whole cab apart to see how they attach, is the air tanks are chromed, and the fuel tank on the other side is chromed. The air tank should be black, just with the rest of the chassis, and the fuel tank would be probably aluminum. And ironically, for this truck, more than likely, these air tanks should be black, and these steps should be polished aluminum. So it is what it is. It's a pretty nice little thing. I mean, it's certainly it's certainly a lot nicer than a lot of toy flatbeds. These are getting kind of hard to find because I don't think I make them anymore. The guy still had one in white and another one in black, so I mean, I had my choice. This winch does disconnect down here at the anchor points, which really, in a sense, is sort of pointless, because in real life you would take these anchors and they would, be holding something down rather than being just down here no matter what. Those are sort of molded into the bed and they stay there. I don't know. Like I said, it is what it is. Sort of looks like it's got a wannabe MX-7000 on top. Probably would not see an all-light one like that in real life on a tow truck, but like I said, for $30, it's a pretty substantial thing. It's a big chunky die cast. The bottom here, you can sort of see how awful the chrome looks. Has some reasonably good detail. It's all molded in. It's got just a straight solid axle up front here, so you can't steer it. But maybe taking this and painting out the exhaust would make it look better. But honestly, sort of a warp to the whole system here. That's funny. But what I was going to say before I lost my train of thought there was, I don't plan for this to be upside down. So I'm not going to really worry about the chassis on it. So there's that. I think that's cool. I've been looking for something like that. Thought about trying to, measure out a deck of a flatbed and bolt one on the back of something, but that'll serve the purpose of what I wanted quite nicely. Picked up this. This is, of course, this is a couple of months old now. I guess probably over the summer. And this is, of course, the Mobius 1954 Hudson Hornet Club Coupe. It is effectively, the dirty bits and whatnot from the 53 kit with a new body. And, of course, you have new chrome pieces, new glass, new wheels, and stuff like that to complement the new body. I guess the one thing about this that everybody was sort of annoyed with is they sort of show these full wheel covers on the front. But what you end up getting are the wire wheels that the kit has always had. Some people thought that was false advertising. I was like, it's box art, But otherwise, it's the same sort of kit. Here's a better picture of the built kit on this side. So, I don't know. It is what it is. If you don't like those wheel covers or those wire wheel style things, put other wheels on it. From eBay. This is a big kit. I don't even want to fit in the screen. Let me tip this up. There we go. This is the Tamiya Mitsubishi Pajero Super Exceed. Super Exceed being the highest trim level you could get on a Mitsubishi in Japan itself. This does come with left-hand drive, and it does come with decals to make a Mitsubishi Montero, which would, of course, be the U.S. Or at least the export version of this vehicle. This is one of the masterpieces of the 90s kits. This was tooled up in 1991, 92, right around the same time the Toyota Land Cruiser was. There is a sports option version of this kit that is unobtainium. I know of one on eBay. It's right now at $150, which, of course, is ridiculous. It's not worth that much, even if it was unobtainium. But it would be nice to see Tamiya reissue this kit along with its sport option twin. Obviously, I have this one. I don't need this, but I like to have the sport option one because it's much like the Land Cruiser. It's got big beefy tires and a light rack and big brush guard and stuff like that. It's very cool in the it's period, but it's very cool nonetheless. You have this tritone, which is a Japanese only thing. If you were to build this as a Montero, you'd have a two-tone that splits along the rocker here. Basically, the bumper, the fender arches, the rockers would be one color, and then everything else would be another. Only the Japanese Super Exceed Pajeros had the tricolor, it's not really a, everybody calls it a tritone, but it's not really a tritone. It's still a two-tone. It's just there's a stripe that's quote unquote that splits the middle there. This is not wood grain. It's actually like beige, brown, and beige. So you'd have to paint this tritone if you wanted to do it that way. But like I said, for the people that are interested in this, it does have left-hand drive wipers, the whole 9 yards. It does have a full engine, full drivetrain, everything. This is like a ladder frame. It's an old truck, so the ladder, you have a full frame and everything underneath this. Like I said, it's very cool. I managed to find this on eBay from a hobby shop up in New York someplace. It was upstate New York, and they wanted, I forget what I think I paid less than $28 shipped for the whole thing, and it was still sealed. For some reason, this kit gets no love. Maybe because, the Mitsubishi Montero wasn't a very popular truck here. But it's a very, very nice model kit in and of itself. But, if you find these in America, they tend to be cheap. For some reason, the Japanese ones, probably because they know there are no more because this kit's been, is discontinued. They don't make it right now. Those ones tend to be a little more expensive. But if you find them in the United States, they tend to go for about $20-25. And you find hobby shops that still have these things laying around from the last reissue back probably about 7 years ago. But like I said, cool kit. I like it. And then last but not least, there's another eBay find, another kit that I actually found here in the United States. And this is kind of a rare, not rare, but rare to find it in the United States kind of thing. This is a Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 9 MR. They actually, in the Evo 9 series, did all four of the ways you could get it from the factory. The RS, which is like the rally sport that doesn't have the wing and it's all like steel wheels. the MR, which is sort of the mid-grade, and then the GSR, which is the top of the line, Evo 9. And then they also did the Evo 9 Rally Art. Trying to get that glare off the kit. Oh, there we go. I like these kits from this era of like the mid 2000s. All these genuinely Japanese-made stickers on the thing here. But this is basically just your regular Evo 9. They just reissued the Evo 9 GSR with window masks. This is the same kit effectively, except it has a different set of wheels and a different spoiler system and a few other little bibs and bops and bits that specifically do the MR trim package. But like I said, cool car, cool kit nonetheless, because these are kind of hard to find. I'm still looking for the RS. And it's one of those things that there were a gajillion of them, and they were everywhere. Then they stopped making them, and suddenly they can't find them. Much like the Dragon BMWs, those were everywhere, and then nobody wanted them, and then they went away, and now everybody wants to pay $100 for them. So, I guess the other acquisition, we talked about this in the stash report, is this chair. I got my new Dr. Evil chair here. So, again, props to the wife for buying me a chair. I know that sounds weird, but I would have never actually bought myself a chair because I had a chair. It had 4 legs. It was awful. It was uncomfortable. It was a terrible thing to build in, but it was still a functional chair. But anyway, guys, we'll leave it there, and we got to do our November compilation video here, which is going to be coming up next, or it might come up before, depends on how he's uploaded, but I'm going to film them at the same time. So that's coming up next, and we'll see you guys on the other side.